His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa received the credentials of 19 new ambassadors to Bahrain in a ceremony held at Skir Palace. The new ambassadors arrived at Skir Palace where they were received by the Chief of Royal Protocol. The ceremony was attended by His Highness the Representative of His Majesty the King for Humanitarian Work and Youth Affairs, His Highness the First Deputy Chairman of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports, Chairman of the General Sports Authority and President of Bahrain Olympic Committee, the Minister of the Royal Court, His Majesty the King's Advisor for Diplomatic Affairs, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Chief of Royal Protocol. His Majesty the King received the credentials of the Ambassador of Denmark, the Ambassador of the Slovak Republic, the Ambassador of Chad, the Ambassador of Mongolia, the Ambassador of Canada, the Ambassador of the Czech Republic, the Ambassador of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the Ambassador of Turkmenistan, the Ambassador of Sweden, the Ambassador of Guinea, the Ambassador of Seychelles, the Ambassador of Estonia, the Ambassador of Latvia, the Ambassador of Tanzania, the Ambassador of South Africa, the Ambassador of Spain, the Ambassador of Tajikistan, the Ambassador of Guatemala, and the Ambassador of Moldova.
سفير جمهورية التشيك سفير كومنولث جزر البهاما سفير تركمانستان سفير مملكة السويد سفير جمهورية غينيا سفير جمهورية سيشل سفيرة جمهورية أستونيا سفيرة جمهورية لاتفيا سفير جمهورية تنزانيا المتحدة سفير جمهورية جنوب أفريقيا سفير مملكة أسبانيا، سفير جمهورية طاجكستان، سفير جمهورية غواتيمالا، سفير جمهورية مولدوفا،
His Majesty the King then delivered the following speech.
أصحاب السعادة، نرحب بكم أجمل ترحيب كسفراء معتمدين لدى مملكة البحرين التي تعتز بعلاقاتها المتميزة مع دولكم الموقرة، ونتمنى لكم بهذه المناسبة فترة عمل مثمرة مليئة بالإنجاز، حيث سنحرص خلالها على تقديم كافة أوجه الدعم والمساندة لتحقيق ما نرجوه معا من تقارب وتعاون مشترك. كما أوصيكم جميعا بنقل تحياتي الشخصية إلى أصحاب الجلالة والفخامة الذين نكن لهم كل تقدير ومودة ومحبة. وختاما نتمنى لكم المزيد من التوفيق في مهامكم ودوام الصحة والعافية، وشكرا. أهلا وسهلا بكم. أهلا وسهلا. We are very happy today that you came all the way to present your credentials, which we respect very much. Minister of Foreign Affairs door will be open for any consultation or anything you have in mind. You let us know. We are, as I said, brothers and friends. And that will really please us a lot. As you know, in this difficult time, our challenge is to maintain progress. And people are working very hard, and they are achieving a lot as a result of their good work. So your support, of course, will make it even better progress. This is what's important. Of course, I must say a few words about the passing of His Holiness, the Pope, who was a great friend of Bahrain. And he visited Bahrain, a great visit to say that Bahrain is a very tolerant country with other religions, which he supports himself. We have to remember the good things he did, not just for Bahrain, but for the world. We announced from the royal court a few words of condolences. Bahrain appreciated His Holiness' work towards peace, which he always called for. And hopefully the next Pope will follow the same path.
The ambassadors conveyed to His Majesty the greetings and appreciation of His Majesty the King and leaders and kings of respective countries, and wished His Majesty lasting good health and happiness, and Bahrain's people further progress and prosperity.
الشرف كتفان سلاح.
The ambassadors praised the close relations between their countries and Bahrain in all fields. At the end of the ceremony, the royal anthem was played. A joint statement was issued on the discussions held between His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and the President of the Kyrgyz Republic, Sadir Japarov, during his visit to Bahrain.
Both leaders noted with satisfaction the growing momentum of bilateral engagement in recent years, particularly at the level of foreign ministers, and the result of the first official visit by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kyrgyz Republic to Bahrain in 2022. Both leaders welcomed the initiation of joint efforts to establish the Intergovernmental Joint Commission on Cooperation, as well as the planned launch of a direct Manama-Bishkek-Manama flight route and developing a bilateral legal framework in this field. Both leaders, reaffirming the importance of a mutually beneficial trade and economic partnership, expressed their intention to further advance cooperation in line with national interests. Both leaders placed particular emphasis on the importance of cooperation ensuring food security, highlighting the potential for joint projects focused on cultivating agricultural products in the Kyrgyz Republic for supply to the GCC market. Both leaders acknowledged the growing intercultural exchange and emphasized the importance of expanding cooperation in the fields of tourism, sports, education, science, technology, and healthcare to bring the peoples of both countries closer together. Both leaders highlighted the consistent implementation of the agreements reached during the official visit will serve as a solid foundation for further strengthening cooperation across all sectors. Both parties reviewed their shared commitment to maintaining regular dialogue at various levels and across multiple platforms to achieve common goals. They emphasized the importance of strengthening the role of the United Nations in matters of international security and sustainable development. Both sides reaffirmed their mutual support for each country's candidacies for non-permanent memberships on the United Nations Security Council and expressed their anticipation of collaboration on matters of mutual concern in 2027, when both countries are expected to serve on the Council. Both sides stressed the importance of all countries adhering to the UN Charter, international law, the principles of good neighborliness, the territorial integrity and sovereignty of states, and non-interference in the internal affairs of states. The two sides stressed the importance of establishing a just and comprehensive peace in the Middle East through political settlements and diplomatic solutions, and the need to end all conflicts and disputes to preserve the interests and gains of the peoples of the region and the permanent solution of the Palestinian cause. Both leaders stressed the importance of implementing the Resolution on Sustainable Mountain Development adopted at the 77th session of the UN General Assembly, which aims to strengthen international cooperation on mountain development. They also welcomed the holding of the Second World Mountain Summit of Bishkek +25. The Kyrgyz side expressed its appreciation for the foreign policy pursued by Bahrain, as well as efforts to ensure and strengthen regional stability and security. The Kyrgyz side praised the generous initiative of His Majesty the King to host the Intra-Islamic Dialogue Conference to promote the values of coexistence, Islamic unity and dialogue among Muslims. Both leaders noted the priority of establishing cooperation among states to combat the three threats of terrorism, separatism and extremism, and stressed the importance of ensuring an effective response to these threats at the global, regional and national levels. The two leaders noted the convergence of the two countries' approaches on key aspects of regional cooperation in light of Bahrain's recent attainment of dialogue partner status and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Both leaders reaffirmed their readiness to further develop close cooperation within the Cooperation Council for the Arab States of the Gulf Central Asia framework and agreed to strengthen cooperation across various fields. Both leaders expressed confidence that the convening of the Conference on Interaction and Confidence-Building Measures in Asia will strengthen the principle of cooperation and joint coordination among countries based on solidarity, mutual respect and effective cooperation. Both leaders noted that the international initiatives proposed by both countries at the international and regional levels serve to strengthen peace and sustainable development. President Japarov expressed gratitude for the warm welcome and hospitality extended to him and his delegation and extended an invitation to His Majesty the King to visit Bishkek. The invitation was kindly accepted. Both leaders agreed to intensify efforts to leverage all available opportunities for bilateral cooperation across all areas and take the necessary measures to expand ties. President Japarov extended his best wishes to His Majesty the King for the continued development and prosperity for the government and people of Bahrain.
Under the patronage of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, the closing ceremony of His Majesty the King, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces 2025 Shooting Championship was held. His Majesty deputized the BDF Commander-in-Chief, Field Marshal Sheikh Khalifa bin Ahmed Al Khalifa, to attend the closing ceremony in the presence of the Commander of the National Guard, Lieutenant General His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Isa Al Khalifa, the National Security Advisor and Royal Guard Commander, Lieutenant General His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, and Royal Guard Special Force Commander, Colonel His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa. Upon arrival, the Commander-in-Chief was welcomed by the Minister of Defense Affairs, Lieutenant General Abdullah bin Hassan al-Naimi, and BDF Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Diab bin Sagr al-Naimi. The championship was also attended by the Chairman of the Supreme Council of Health, Lieutenant General Dr. Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, and the Minister of Interior, General Sheikh Rashid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa. After praying the royal anthem, the ceremony began with a recitation of verses from the Holy Quran, followed by a speech by the Director of the Military Sports Association, Brigadier General Muhammad bin Jalal, in which he welcomed the BDF Commander-in-Chief, praising the support given to military sports by the BDF officials led by the Commander-in-Chief, which contributed to making many sports achievements at the regional and international levels. The championship, which included archery, tug-of-war, and warrior competitions, were attended by a number of BDF officers, non-commissioned officers, and members of various BDF units. On this occasion, the BDF Commander-in-Chief commended the efforts of the organizers and congratulated all participants on the outstanding results they achieved. He added that the achievements of the military sports teams in international and global forums reflect the support of His Majesty the King and the follow-up of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, Deputy Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces and Prime Minister. He pointed out that the BDF harnesses all means and capabilities to support military sports, praising everyone's endeavors to continue their interest in military sports and their readiness to participate in various sports championships, which raises the flag of Bahrain in regional and international sports forums. At the conclusion of the competitions, the Commander-in-Chief awarded the winning arms and units. Special Battalion 83 won the first place in physical fitness for the year 2024-2025. The first place in the tug-of-war competition was won by the Royal Special Forces. The Royal Bahraini Navy won first place in the rifle dish dropping competition. The rifle shooting competition was won by the Royal Guard. The pistol shooting competition won by the Special Battalion 83. The warrior competition for other ranks was won by Special Battalion 83. And the warrior competition for officers won by the Royal Guard. The Commander-in-Chief handed over the Sports Excellence Cup for the 2024-2025 to His Highness Sheikh Nasser. He expressed appreciation to the participants and wished everyone success in future championships. A number of senior officials from the BDF, the National Guard, and the Ministry of Interior also attended the ceremony. The representative of His Majesty the King for Humanitarian Work and Youth Affairs and Chairman of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, chaired the SCYS meeting in the presence of the First Deputy Chairman of the CYS, Chairman of the General Sports Authority and President of Bahrain Olympic Committee, His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa, and SCYS members. His Highness emphasized the importance of the Council's role in supporting Bahraini youth and enhancing their participation in national development. He directed the Council to establish the Grand House Authority Initiative, which aims to strengthen loyalty and national belonging among Bahraini youth. He instructed the Ministry of Youth Affairs to continue implementing and developing these programs to build a conscious and enthusiastic youth base that actively participates in national development. The meeting included a presentation by the Ministry of Youth Affairs on the Hope Network initiative, where His Highness emphasized that the Hope Network embodies the vision of His Majesty the King and is in line with the directives of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. The Council was also briefed on the participation of the Minister of Youth Affairs, Rawan Tawfiqi, in the UN Economic and Social Council Youth Forum, where they reviewed the Bahraini model of youth empowerment through the National Project Lama. It also reviewed the results of the meetings held by the Minister with a number of senior UN officials who praised the Hope Network initiative. His Highness directed to form a high-level advisory board to follow up on the implementation of the strategic plan and the implementation of the 2025 action plan for the Hope Network. The Council was also briefed on the Hope Index 2025 initiative developed by the Ministry of Youth Affairs. His Highness directed to continue developing the mechanisms for implementing the index and in cooperation with the concerned authorities, and tasked the Ministry of Education to contribute to the efforts to disseminate the questionnaire to schools and universities. The representative of His Majesty the King for Humanitarian Work and Youth Affairs and Chairman of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, met with a number of officials from private sector organizations to celebrate young national talents. Present were the First Deputy Chairman of the Supreme Council for Youth and Sports, Chairman of the General Sports Authority and President of Bahrain Olympic Committee, His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa, and SCYS members. His Highness emphasized that real success is achieved through teamwork and the integration of work between people. He pointed out his continuous keenness to lead the national transformation in supporting and empowering Bahraini youth by providing initiatives to enhance job loyalty. He stressed that this meeting comes within the framework of national initiatives aimed at strengthening the partnership between the public and private sectors in supporting Bahraini youth and honoring those who have contributed their loyalty and job stability to the development of work environment. The meeting included the signing of the Spreading Hope in the Work Environment Statement, expressing the joint commitment to the participating parties to spread positivity and build a stimulating work environment. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa yesterday attended a ceremony in the Bahrain Governorate honoring young Bahrainis for their contributions during the holy month of Ramadan. His Highness praised the support of His Majesty the King for initiatives that promote the learning and memorization of the Holy Quran. He also welcomed the continued support of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister in supporting those who memorize the Holy Quran. His Highness honored Bahrainis aged between 15 and 20 who helped organize the Taraweeh and Qiyam prayers during the holy month, as well as those who have memorized the entire Holy Quran and shared their recitations through national radio and television. His Highness affirmed that the excellence in Quran recitation and memorization is a source of pride and extended his appreciation to the event organizers. Shura Council member Sheikh Dr. Adel Mauda also commended the ceremony, noting that His Highness's patronage reflects the ongoing royal support for Quran pursuits and serves as inspiration for Bahraini youth. A number of senior officials also attended the meeting. The Council of Representatives held its weekly session presided over by its Speaker Ahmed Lemselem. The Council approved the request submitted by a number of Council members on regulating the labour market and controlling foreign workers in Bahrain. The session also approved a number of proposals and reports and referred them to the government. The Chairman of the Supreme Council of Health, Lieutenant General Sheikh Dr. Mohammed bin Abdullah Al Khalifi, in the presence of the Minister of Health, Dr. Jalila Hassan, attended the Bahrain Medical Laboratory Symposium organized by the Health Ministry in coordination with government hospitals, primary healthcare centers, and the Royal Medical Services in collaboration with Education Plus. The SIA chairman stressed that the symposium is a scientific milestone that enhances the efficiency of health services by supporting investment in advanced laboratory technologies. The Ministry of Health stressed the pivotal role played by medical laboratories in supporting the diagnostic and treatment system, which reflects on enhancing the quality of healthcare. A number of local and international speakers presented scientific papers on the latest emerging technologies and methods in the laboratory environment, in addition to presenting the results of research and technological innovations that contribute to the development of laboratory practices. On the occasion of Earth Day, the Minister of Municipalities Affairs and Agriculture, Engineer Wa'il Mubarak, affirmed the Ministry's commitment to achieving the National Afforestation Strategic Goals, which aims to double the trees in Bahrain from 1.8 million to 3.6 by 2035. The Minister noted that celebrating this global day reflects the joint international efforts to reduce environmentally harmful waste and promote sustainable waste management. He also highlighted continued work on implementing the National Action Plan to achieve carbon neutrality, as announced by His Majesty the King. He praised the government initiatives led by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, which aim to protect the environment and expand afforestation projects. The Minister pointed to the prominent role of the Mangroves of Bahrain initiative launched by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Salman Al Khalifa in protecting the marine environment and preserving natural resources. In the presence of the Chairman of the National Arts Council, Sheikh Rashid bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, Al Ayyam Publishing and Dar Foundation for Culture and Arts in Jordan organized the 5th season of the Global Brush. This art exhibition comes to support visual artists to bridge distances and constructive ideas. The event highlights the Kingdom's commitment to supporting creativity and human communication through art, as artists from different countries gather to present their artistic visions and human experiences in one creative form. The LMRA affirmed its commitment to continuously improving procedures and systems to enhance accuracy and efficiency through the use of modern technology and AI. The authority introduced the Smart Inspection System, which is an advanced electronic platform for preparing inspection reports with the aim of improving the quality of reports generated by inspectors during field visits. The LMRA explained that this system marks a significant step in boosting operational efficiency by providing accurate and real-time data, streamlining monitoring of violations, enabling swift action, and reducing the duration of inspection visits by up to 50%. The National Bureau for Revenue, the NBR, affirmed its ongoing commitment to enhancing the compliance of commercial establishments and ensuring adherence to all regulations governing the proper application of VAT, excise tax, and the digital stamp scheme. The NBR carried out 358 inspection visits in local markets during the first quarter of the year and reported 46 violations that resulted in administrative fines due to non-compliance with VAT invoicing requirements and procedures. It emphasized that the success of its inspection campaign is achieved through the cooperation of both business owners and consumers to uphold the highest standards of compliance.